Hello and welcome to the eTalk 21 Sports Podcast. I'm Eric, the man behind eTalk 21 Sports. You can find my work at eTalk 21 Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and yes, the TikTok, which I am loving. Plus, my horse racing you can find at eTalk 21 Sports _horse_racing. On Instagram, a reminder that all my plays will be posted free until June 1st. How's everyone doing today? Have you guys ever experienced COVID brain yet? I had my first taste of it this morning. So, as you guys know, if you follow me, I post pics about me working out like you guys really care, but I do it anyway. So, I always start my day. I do a little DDP yoga, which, if you guys are looking for a home workout, is great. You know, you can go on ddpyoga.com and you sign up. You get 7 days free. Try it out. Phenomenal workout. I suggest if you guys like to work out and you can do stuff from home, you don't have the home gym, I mean, definitely do it. It's great. So I do that, and then I like to run. So the path I normally run on, because it's been pouring in Chicago the last couple of days, is flooded because it's right next to the Des Plaines River. So I decided to go this other way. So I start running. I see this path. I go down this path. And when I run, that's when I kind of process my ideas for like what I want to do for the week, what I want to post, and kind of like what I'm thinking. So, I mean, it's kind of my me time when I can do all my thinking and not have to deal with all the BS that goes on during the day and people want to talk to me, whatever. So I'm doing that. I'm thinking about some stuff. And then I look up and I'm like, shit, where the hell am I? I ran and I got lost. So I literally had no idea where the F I was. I walked around for a little bit, tried to get some bearings. And I had to break out my phone and use the Waze app to figure out where the hell I was. I felt like such a moron. And I mean, I had ran a while too, because I don't really look at my Fitbit when I'm running. I just kind of run. And like I said, I have a path. I run it, I come back, and boom. It's like 4 miles, a 4-mile loop, but I went a different way. And yeah, I was out there. So it took me a little while to get back to the old place today. So I'm a little bit behind schedule, but hey, stuff happens. Feel like a little bit of a dumbass, but you know, heaven's the best of us. Well, also letting you guys know that I'm starting to post my year-to-date spreadsheets. Yeah, I talked about spreadsheets on Saturday. I'm starting to post those on the site, eTalk21 Sports. So you can find all that stuff there for the sports, I bet, detailed tracking, horse racing, the whole 9 yards. All that stuff is going to be up. That's my kind of goal this week, to put that all up on the eTalk21sports.com site. Also, I mean, every gambler has one of those weekends where it's just like, you just have to smile. Saturday night, 3 bad decisions, which the guy or female I was betting clearly won the fight, but UFC corrupt judging, what can you do? Which is going to be one of my talking points later I'll get into. Jimmy Johnson doing well in the race and then having one of the worst crashes I've ever seen in my history of betting and playing DFS NASCAR, betting NASCAR, watching NASCAR, losing a 42-1 shot in a photo at Churchill Downs. Just one of those weeks as a gambler, man. You know, we've all been there when we bet, and you just have to smile, grin, and bear it. And, you know, put your head down, do the work, get ready for the next one. And that's what I'll do. And, you know, long-term results is what it's all about. So let's jump into today's topics. The first thing we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about The Last Dance. The last 2 episodes of The Last Dance were yesterday. Sadly, it's over. The Last Dance gave us something to look forward to every week for 2 hours in our life. And with what's going on in the world, that was important. It gave us our escape of the pandemic and just the uncertainty that we're all living in. So I really liked it. I thought it was great. Last night's episodes, the first thing that stuck out to me was Dennis Rodman, after Game 3, leaves Chicago. WCW has a private plane for him, pays him $250,000, flies him down to Nitro, which was kind of the equivalent of what Monday Night Raw is right now, joins the NWO, parties with the NWO, attacks Diamond Dallas Page, gets flown back to Chicago, plays a huge part in game 3, hits 3 throws to win the game, and then he gets to go home with Carmen Electra, and let's face it, it's Rodman. He sleeps with Carmen Electra. If that's not the best 48 hours that a human has ever lived, I have no idea what is. You played in an NBA championship game, Vital Park, won the game for your team, were on a pro wrestling show with Hulk Hogan, having a vital part, and then probably the hottest girl in that era, Carmen Electra, you went home with and took her to the boneyard. I mean, Jesus Christ, dude. Rodman just living the life, dude. And now let's think about it from the Jazz point of view. For a whole year, you've been getting ready for this. Ready to challenge them. Ready to challenge the Bulls. You're pumped. You think you can win. And then you have Dennis Rodman, who's the third best player on the Bulls, and just says, F it, leaves middle of the finals, goes down to wrestle on WCW. If that's not the biggest, yeah, I'm not that worried about you as an opponent. I don't know what is. I mean, that's just like, we'll win anyway. I'm really not that worried. They're not going to push us. I mean, just think about that. Let's say you're playing somebody in a game, and they're just like, oh, I'm just going to fly down to Atlanta, do wrestling, come back, I'll beat you anyway. I mean, God, that's got to be demoralizing to have your opponent think that little of you. And the second biggest takeaway was Reggie Miller saying if they would have won the jump ball being up 3 with 6 minutes left, they would have won that game. What the hell are you thinking, dude, winning that game 7 like that? You got the GOAT on the other side of the court, and you think winning some jump ball is going to win you the game with 6 minutes left? With 6 minutes left? What are you talking about, dude? And what weed are you smoking? Because you got to share that shit, man. I mean, I get it as an athlete. You have a high self-esteem, a high thoughts about yourself, and, if this little thing would have happened to you, I understand that. I used to be a pretty good athlete way back in the day, too, and, if I didn't get hurt, that probably would have been me in the NBA. But to think that, come on, dude. Like, get a grip on reality. And then you hear Costas when he hits that 3. Oh, Reggie Miller, one of the best clutch playoff performers in the NBA. Oh, dude, what? Miller did nothing. I mean, he's a good shooter, but Eastern Conference Finals, he never made one final. Never. So Reggie Miller was not as good as they made him out to be. I mean, that was for sure. Also, let me talk about Karl Malone for a little bit. I'm seeing people, what a great guy. What a classy guy. Karl Malone, goes on the bus, shakes hands. Okay, Karl Malone didn't have 1, didn't have 2. He had 3 kids via affair, out of wedlock, okay? And then one of the women he got pregnant, she was 13 at the time. And he will have nothing to do with that kid. So all you people saying, Karl Malone's such a great guy, world-class guy, nothing but class. He knocked up a 13-year-old. Karl Malone, in my eyes, is a piece of fucking shit. He knocked up a 13-year-old and will have zero to do with that person's life, even though that person has tried numerous times to reach out with him. So this whole Karl Malone's a saint shit and nothing but class, let's get our heads out of our asses and understand the situation, understand what a real piece of shit that guy is. Because that guy's a huge piece of shit. To knock up a 13-year-old, come on. Use your facts. Do some research on the guy. Be educated. Don't just take the narrative that was shoved down your throat. After The Last Dance, I can say I actually respect Michael Jordan more. It is rare when a documentary or a movie comes out with that much hype that it actually lives up to the hype. And in my eyes, it surpassed the hype. It was great. And MJ was saying, people are going to hate me after this. No. Michael, people respect you more. People like you more. To open up the way you did, to show some emotion, to show you how difficult it was for people, quote-unquote, not liking you, to say the stuff about your dad. People saw you in a different light. And when people see you like that and they see you open up when you're a public figure like that, like the way he did, and they become more human, people like you and people respect you. Me being from Michigan, I hated him, but you know what? I actually like him now. I respect him a lot more, which, as a Pistons fan, is hard for me to say. And also, Jerry Krause, they came out like he passed away a couple years ago. He did have some memoirs about the team and how it ended and everything. I don't think the full thing has been released yet, but it's going to be interesting to see his take, because everyone knows there's 3 sides to every story. Side A, side B, and then what really happened. So I'm going to be interested to read those and see what old Jerry has to say about it. All right. So now let's jump into the UFC. The sporting world was on the UFC for the past 8 days as they gave us 3 cards. And I'm not going to lie, Saturday had some of the worst judging I have ever seen in all my years of watching UFC. It was to the point it was embarrassing. Angela Hill got robbed against Claudia Galega. Hill clearly lost the first round. No argument about that. She got destroyed. But the second round, she knocked Claudia down, and she outstruck her 37 to 29. In the third round, she outstruck her 43 to 34, controlled the middle of the ring, wasn't pressured, wasn't taken to the ground, no takedowns, nothing. How the hell did she lose one of those 2 rounds? How? You can't tell me you watched that fight and you tell me that Hill lost 2 rounds. In what fucking world did Hill lose 2 rounds? I mean, that was truly embarrassing. And I have, like, one of my friends who doesn't really watch UFC, but he's into sports, and he sent me a text message. He says, does this happen to people a lot? Do people who clearly win a fight get screwed over because these judges? And I had to tell him, yeah. I mean, it's to the point now, could ruin UFC. And you get Dana White, who is like, well, don't put it in the hands of the judges. You know, I mean, anything can happen. Dana, screw you, buddy. It's your product, and you got to fix it because it's looking like shit right now. And you're on ESPN. Your viewership's going to be high because people are craving sports. And in the co-main event, the third fight of the night, where a fighter gets screwed because of the judging, and you're not doing shit. Get off your fucking high horse and fix your fucking product, dude. Because that was embarrassing what happened on Saturday night. The second fight of the night, where the judges totally got wrong, was Barboza. Barboza clearly won that fight 29-28 at worst. In fact, I'm closer to scoring it 30-27 Barboza than 29-29 for Inge. The only round you can argue that Inge won was the second round. But Barboza did more, and he put more strikes in to close it, and he did a lot of damage in the second round. In the third round, Barboza controlled it as well. For him to drop that much weight, get down to 145, which is tough for him to do, and then for the judges to do that, I would say screw it, I'm out. I would do something else. But that's just the type of person I am. To put in that much work, to go through a camp, to do the weight cut in this COVID-19 world, and then to have 3 judges go out there and screw you. That's just bullshit, dude. That is just I would seriously screw it. I would fight for another promotion, or the life of the fighter can't be that great. And he's getting up there. I would say screw it. If I was Barboza, I would say screw it. I would give Dana White the middle finger and say screw it. And then the first screw job of the night was Varane. I mean, I had the fight 29-28 him. Well-respected media members had him winning the fight 30-27. 30-27. Then to have him lose the fight, I mean, come on, what are these judges watching? I mean, go back, watch that fight with no sound on it. Just watch the fight with no sound. And use your eyes and tell me who won that fight. That's it. That's all I ask. Go back, watch the fight, no sound. Tell me who won the fight. It's clear. Varane won that fight. He did more. He pushed forward more. He got more strikes. He had more takedown attempts. He converted more takedown attempts, and he was in control of the fight. So you're telling me more strikes landed, more takedowns, more in control on the ground, and you lose the fight. Look at the stats, and you lose the fight. having controlling those three kind of stuff.